Hey everybody, I hope everybody's having a really good week this week. So this week what's popping and dropping is a cauldron. We have a 3D cauldron here. It's bubbling with goodness in the middle and a fire down around the bottom of it. So if you'd like, we can go ahead and head over to Design Space and I'm going to show you everything that comes in this file. So I'll meet you over there. Okay, guys, here we are in Design Space. When you open the Cauldron 3D pop up card, this is what the file will look something like when you open it up. These are extra little monsters, and this is an extra cauldron. If you want to use this, you might have to resize it depending on where you want to place it in your card. Add any additional pieces that you would like to add to this file. Don't forget to go up and name and save this file so you can have it for later. If you'd like, we can go ahead and get all of our pieces cut out. I'll meet you at the craft table and I'll show you how to put this together. I'll see you there. Okay, guys, so we are going to make our pretty paper again this week. I'm using white paper, this Jim Holtz Distressed Ink Wild Honey, and Stampin' Up Calypso. And then I'm going to be using these two little brushes that I have. And you'll also need glue. I am just using Eileen's glue. You could use Elmer's. And what we're going to do is just take and put some dots wherever you would like them. This is the pattern that I'm going with. And then once you have your glue dots on, that's how I did mine. We're just going to take it and smear those glue dots. And if you want to add a little bit more here, you can. This is what my glue lines look like. We're going to set this aside and let it dry. And we need to make sure it's completely dry before we start doing anything else to it, which I put mine in front of a little fan and it took about 5 minutes or so. So let's go ahead and let this piece dry. When our glue is dry, it should look something like this. Now what I'm going to do is take my inks here. I'm going to start with the Wild Honey and just start working that color. Then once we get it to our desired liking, we can go ahead and start using our other color. And we're just going to work that until we like how it looks. So let's go ahead and do that. I really like how my pretty paper is at this point. So what I'm going to do is move on to the next step. If you like, you could stop right now at this process if you like the paper how it looks. I'm going to go on to the next step that I did. I'm just going to go in and put some glue dots in between my other lines that we already let dry. And then we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to take our finger across it and smear it, and then we're going to let it dry, and then we're going to take our two inks and work it on top of that again. So let's go ahead and do that. So here is the end result of it. I love putting that extra one layer of glue on there and then going back over it. It just gives it a totally different look. So now that we are finished making our pretty paper, we can get our card base out and the rest of our pretty paper, and we can work that score line and then go ahead and glue our outside pieces on, because we need to save this week our two inside pieces that have the two slits in the middle here. So two other pieces on the outside of our card base, and then we're going to set these two guys aside. Also, we have the extra score lines on each side of our center score line that will help us place our pretty paper inside of our card. So make sure you're putting your paper on the right side. We want the side without the squared score lines. So why don't we go ahead and do that? Isn't that cool looking? We have our outside pieces on, not our inside. So the next thing we can do is let's get our pieces out for the front of our card to decorate it. Okay guys, now that we've gotten all of our pieces out for the front of our card, these two half circles I'm going to put about right here, like so, just a little off the edge of the bottom of my card and the top. And then our white piece will go on top of our black piece like so. And then we'll line it up in the center of our card like that. So let's go ahead and put these pieces on our card. Now that we got this guy done, we can move on to our little monsters for the front. So I chose the purple monster with the horns and it's kind of furry. So my purple piece is going to go on top of my yellow piece like so. And then we have two little eyeballs that will go in the center here. And then I decided to change my mouth to cut it in vinyl instead of on my purple piece. So I'm going to go ahead and put these pieces together. Now, this monster I did was this guy. He's a new little monster I made. And he's going to go on top like so. And then we have his eye and his little horns, whatever these things are called. And then down at the bottom, I'm doing this part in vinyl. And then these two pieces are done in cardstock. And then our little cyclops here. Now we can put our little guys on. So I think I'm going to put my little guys on like so. Now let's go ahead and get our pieces out for Cauldron. I thought this might be a little easier to do in different colors so you'll be able to see it a little bit better when we put it together. I'm going to end up doing mine in black. So these four pieces over here where we have three at the top, two at the bottom, three at the top, two at the bottom, and then three at the bottom and then two at the top, three at the bottom, two at the top. These are going to be the last pieces that we put on. Our first piece we're going to work on is we have four slits at the top, two on each side, and then one at the bottom, and then just the opposite of this one. That's our first piece. Then our next piece we'll work on is the three slits at the bottom and the two on each side of the three slits. And then our last one, those are easy to find because they have the little tabs on it. So let's start with this guy here where we have two on each side and then one at the bottom and then just the opposite, two on each side and then one at the top. We're just going to take this and slide it into the other one like so. And this is similar to the pumpkin with cat pop-up card. If you haven't seen it, you can check that out. There's a link above. The next two that have the 3 slits at the bottom and then the 2 at the top. This might fall out if you don't hold on to it. We're going to take one of these guys and we're going to use the middle slit, and then we're going to put it down this slit here. So let's do that. Then we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to take that middle slit and then put it in the middle slit right there. Then you should have something that looks like this. Now we need to turn it over and put it on the top of the cauldron. And when we turn this over, you notice on each slit on the each side of the centerpiece, there's 3 slits. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to take one of these guys and we're just going to drop it down in those 3 slits. Okay, so now you should have something looking like this. Now, if your tab is on this side, when you put this one on, we want to flip it so it's on the opposite corner. So we want it diagonal from each other. So that's the only thing we need to worry about on the opposite piece. And then we're just going to take those 3 slits, put them in these 3 slits. Now we should have that. And that's what it looks like when we're on the top. Now there's no need to turn it back over. We'll just go ahead and start working from the top now. So if you notice, we have a slit at the bottom, slit at the top, slit at the bottom. So that means we need to find for this guy a slit at the top. We're only looking for 3. So we're going to ignore these 2 outside slits. So in this slit, we're going to put this guy. Then the next one is going to go on this one, and then the last slit will go on that one. And you're going to have to maneuver it around. So let's start with this slit. We're not worrying about the 2 outside ones. And we're just going to slide it right up into it like so. Then if we kind of pull this one cauldron back, we'll see this one is at the top. So all you need to do is take that and work this piece up and then the other piece over it. And then you'll have to kind of shimmy it back in place. So there's our last slit we're going to work on. So we're going to do the same thing. There's our slit. We're going to take this one down, up, and work it through, and then fix it back up. So now we have this. Now let's go to the opposite side over here. So again, we have a slit at the bottom, slit at the top, slit at the bottom. So we're going to forget about these 2 slits. We need this one to be at the top, this one to be at the bottom, and the last one to be at the top. And we are going directly across from that last piece we just put on, which is this piece right here, darker green. So forgetting about these 2 slits, we're going to start with this one. So I'm going to take that slit and work it right up that. Then we're going to move on to that next one. It's going to go in this guy right there. And then we have our last slit that we need to work. It's right here. We're forgetting about that one for now. And then we have this. So now we'll get these two guys. So now we're going to, on these two last ones, we're going to worry about all four of these slits. So this is straight up. I'm just going to turn it to the bottom. Slit at the bottom needs to be a top, bottom, top, bottom, top. So we're just going to weave this one up and down this guy over here, each one of these. Now I'm working that second one just up and over. We're going to be on our third one here. So we're just going to hook it around that bottom again. Now we got the third one. We're just going to work it over that third slit right here. And then we'll work this last one. And then we'll just shimmy it back down into place. And then we're just going to do the same thing to the other side. So let's go ahead and do that. And there we have it. So now what we can do is get out our card base, our cauldron, and our two pieces of pretty paper we haven't put in yet. We did use glue to make our pretty paper, so I'm just going to quickly take an X-Acto knife and go through the slits to make sure there's no glue. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and fold our cauldron down, and we want our two tabs matching up with each other. If they're at opposite ends, we don't want that. And then we're just going to take one of our tabs and work it through our score line, our cut line. Got it through, and then we're just going to pull it on in. And then once we pull it in, you can fold it over. And I'm going to use just double-sided tape for now, and then when I go to put my pretty paper on, I'll glue it. Now when we turn our pretty paper over, it should look something like this. And then we'll take our other side of our pretty piece of paper and we're going to work that through that cut line. And you can line your pretty paper up with each other and then just pull your little tab and fold it forward and then glue it or tape it down. We have these nice little square score lines in our paper to help us line this up with each other. Now I'm just lining my pretty paper back up with each other, and then I'm going to use the score line in my card here to line it up with one another. So we're just going to put some glue on the back of this and place it down on the left side. So we have our left side on. Don't have our right on yet. So we'll just do exactly what the card did. Fold it over, put glue on this, and then we need to line that back up in our score line. So let's go ahead and do that. And then it should shut up very nicely in our card. Now we can take our little fire pieces, if you're going to do the fire underneath, and our little wood. And I did save a set so I can show you how to put it together. So this is one of the flames. Then I did a different color orange and put it inside that one. And then our next one will go in like so. And we're just going to glue them on top of each other like that. So let's go ahead and do that. So once you have all your fire pieces put together, when you're putting this in, you just don't want to cross over your score line. So I'm just going to kind of line it up like it's a fire around it. Put a stick, think like that. And you may have to cut these if you want them shorter. So I think I'm going to put my fire like so. So now I'm just going to glue these pieces down. I have the fire and the logs or wood placed down under, and that's what it's looking like glued down. Now we get to do the bubbles. These guys will fit on each of the notches here. It's totally up to you how you'd like to put it on. I think it's fun with the biggest bubble kind of in the center, and those slits will you'll just slide down on top of each of the cardstock here. And you can put it in front of it or behind it, whichever you prefer. So what we'll do is just take a little bit of glue in between these little sections. Don't get too wild and crazy with it. You can see my glue across the bottom there. And then I'm going to put it on from the front of my card. It's the first, second, third section in. And we're just going to go on to our next one, however you want to place these little guys here. I think on this one here, I'm going to put in front of this guy. Like so. And then let's just keep continuing the process. All right, guys, so we have it done with the bubbles. Isn't that cute? Now we have the letters of whatever we're putting in our card. I did want to show you our card for our note area. We have a cauldron, and then we're going to put a white piece on for the area to write in. And then this guy goes on top. And then we have our little smoke section. Why don't we go ahead and put these together? Let's go ahead and put our little stir stick on. I'm going to put it right here. Let's see if we can get that on. There we go. On this guy right here. And I'm going to shut my card just to get an idea of where I need to place it so it's not sticking outside of my card. Alright guys, we did it. We have Rrr, Hello, and Monster, and then we open it up and we have our cauldron with some bubbly goodness in it, and it says, "What's brewing in your world?" So I did put some candy corn in my little bubbles. You can put anything in there you want. And then we turn it over to the back and we have a place where we can write a message. Guys, how do monsters like their eggs? Terra fried. Guys, thank you so much for stopping by and crafting with me. Don't forget to stop by next week to see what's popping and dropping. Bye.